everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street NOLA and Seasons of Ritual, and I'm here with my good friend Helen, the Crimson Cadaverous.
Hi.
And today we're actually in the French Quarter.
Yes.
And we are out
on location.
We're on location, and we're outside of Medusa's lair, as you can see. It is located here in Pirates Alley, down in the French Quarter. And if you wanted to book a reading with Helen, you could do it. You could go to their website, and Helen will have a link as well.
Yep.
Underneath, I'm like trying
underneath
to, like,
the video.
I know, I'm talking.
We'll throw it in there
yes,
somewhere.
yes. Okay, I'm talking in the, like pointing down. But anyway, there'll be a link. So, Helen does tarot readings here.
Yep.
And she also does celestial, mini celestial chats here as well.
Yeah.
So, if you have questions, be sure to reach out. Okay, so let's get into this very big week that's happening.
I know we're always talking about it being a big week, but it is
a
big week.
It actually is. It actually is.
Yes.
So we are filming this on Sunday.
Yes.
And we are filming for the week of the 15th to the 21st, but this Sunday is the 14th.
Yes.
It is Mother's Day in all forms.
Yes.
So however you get that, need that, or don't, whatever. But it is also our friend Mercury.
Yes, our friend Mercury, who has been stationed retrograde for the last 3 weeks.
Yes.
In the middle of eclipse season.
Yes.
They are stationing direct this evening.
Woohoo!
Yes. So, this is a especially potent Mercury retrograde because, again, it happened during eclipse season.
Yes.
Happened in Taurus.
Right.
So definitely some big shakeups.
Right.
But I think if we really think about it, probably some shakeups we needed.
100%.
Once Mercury stations, I think a lot of things that have been kind of questionable, we've been unsure of, are going to settle down a little bit.
It's going to start making sense.
Yes.
For sure. Okay, so let's get into it, and we'll get into more big news. So let's start with Monday. The moon will be in Pisces.
Yes.
Okay, and Mars in Cancer.
Yep.
We'll be trining Neptune, who's also in Pisces.
Yes.
Okay, so that trine is always a good energy.
Yep, it's an easy flow energy between the same elements, so water elements in this case.
And Mars is the spiritual warrior. He is that divine masculine. He's been in Cancer for a minute now. And so, but I do think because he's in Cancer and he's trining this Neptune in Pisces, he's understanding a better way how to navigate because he is trusting his feelings more.
Yes.
And so a lot of times, and I can tell you this, just like working with clients, a lot of times like they are completely detached from their feelings, and not in a bad way, and not even in a way they mean to be.
Right.
But it is about this idea that getting back in touch and trusting your own feelings and your own energy and your own power. Mars is that power, and I really do think that Mars in Cancer trining in Neptune is going to get us back into that.
Absolutely, and I feel like, that Neptune in Pisces is totally comfortable there.
Yeah.
That's ruling sign of Neptune.
Right.
And so I think that Neptune in Pisces is kind of just making it a little easier for Mars in Cancer to just be in Cancer, have the feel, go with the flow, tap into the intuition, all those things. Because
the moon in Pisces will also be sextiling Pluto that day, who's still in Aquarius. And that sextile energy, again, is good energy.
Right.
It's really, I want to say soft almost.
Yeah, soft, harmonious, easy flowing.
And so you're having that conversation, right? Your intuition's having that conversation with Pluto, who's transforming maybe the ways you thought about things.
Yes.
Because Aquarius is that future, and then that Mars in Cancer is learning how to navigate this, right? He's learning how to move this forward, even though it might be more feeling based.
Yeah. There's lots of feels.
Yes.
Lots of feels.
Even though Aquarius is the mind, but it's also that heart.
Yes.
So Monday's a big, Mercury turns direct, and now we've got a lot of feels and information coming in different ways.
Well, I think it's important to mention you said Mercury retrograde or Mercury stationing.
Yeah.
It will definitely get things to a point where they start to settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
But we have a couple of days where it's like Mercury basically stops. Okay. And we're kind of just like sitting in that energy.
Okay.
Because we still have the shadow phase. We still have a couple weeks to kind of sort through all the things that came up. So give yourself time. Don't feel like everything has to be like back to normal immediately, and you have to have it all figured out and all fixed.
Get back into your feelings.
Yes, it's gonna definitely get back in your feelings.
Yeah, and then when Mercury clears its shadow, you'll know how to describe what's going on.
Yes.
Okay, you guys, Tuesday is a big day.
Yes.
Not because the moon is in Aries.
But because we got that big guy Jupiter.
Yes.
Entering Taurus.
Taurus has just been home to many things since 2018.
Yes. And I think this is a great energy for Jupiter to be in because
I do too.
Jupiter is, the great benefactor, but he expands everything he touches.
Yeah.
So
make sure this is this way. It's a little louder out here than I thought. So I want to make sure you're talking into your
talking to the microphone, right?
These expensive microphones.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
But so Jupiter in Taurus, Taurus is a sign of tangible things, money, resources, the earth.
Yeah.
So expanding upon those concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, I always think of Jupiter and Taurus as big money.
Yeah.
Big money energy. And that doesn't necessarily have to be actual
money. Right.
That could just be you're so money, baby.
Yeah, I was thinking you're so money you don't even know it.
Exactly.
And we're going to know it here pretty soon.
And I think, whatever Jupiter does, Jupiter expands, but also Jupiter brings optimism.
Right. And we need some optimism, man. We
so
do.
I think, we might be seeing things instead of looking at the lack mindset, we have the abundance mindset coming in.
Right. And you guys just celebrate that for a little bit, just take some deep breaths,
Right.
Let Mercury clear its shadow.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we'll be talking about Jupiter and Taurus for over a year now.
Yeah. We got a year of this energy to deal with.
And Jupiter, like you said, is expansion.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be growing into new places.
Right.
Right. And so with anything, especially with Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and with my sweet Sagittarians, I'm always saying, don't overcommit.
Yeah.
Don't put too much on your plate. Same thing.
Right.
Okay, you guys, this is a good uplifting energy, but at the same time, read your schedule. Don't overcommit. All those things.
Oh yeah.
But don't let it rain on your goddamn parade.
No.
It's time for fun. Okay, so Wednesday, the moon will still be in Aries.
Yes.
And then it will move into Taurus.
Right.
Wow.
So I think we're gonna have 5 or 6 planets. I think 6 actually.
Wow, in Taurus.
Yes.
Wow.
So very grounded energy, which I think again is really important right now because we did come through this time of honestly upheaval.
Right.
I think everybody, whether it was good or bad, eclipse season shook some things up.
It shook some things up.
And we need to start grounding.
Yeah.
We need to start planting some seeds and just kind of coming back down to earth.
Yeah. And
there's no better sign for that than Taurus. It's coming back down to earth.
Yeah.
Even thing I keep seeing is taking your shoes off, walking in the dirt, just get back to earth. Because we were kind of up here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight, all engines go.
Yes.
And so that day too, Jupiter will square Pluto, who is an Aquarius.
What's really interesting, I didn't put it in the notes.
Oh, okay.
But the Jupiter square Pluto is part of a bigger story.
Okay.
We've got a fixed grand cross going on this week.
I was about to ask you about that, honestly, fixed sign, because basically Jupiter moving into Taurus, like a fixed square almost, but go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Not to confuse you guys.
that is happening. So we've got Jupiter moving into Taurus. We have Pluto that had moved into Aquarius, the other fixed sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Mars later on in the week, which we'll discuss in a minute, moving into Leo.
Right.
But that means still at those final degrees of Cancer, so still within the fixed cross kind of realm. But we also have the North Node and the South Node in fixed signs too. So the North Node almost in the same place as Jupiter.
Right.
And then the South Node opposite, it's Scorpio. So within a few degrees, we've got all of that in a fixed cross.
Yes.
So the good thing about that kind of energy is it is a very expansive energy.
Good.
It's almost like being pulled from each direction.
Right.
But again, stretching some things out.
So you guys, we talk about this a little bit about being uncomfortable. And so it's important to see if you are uncomfortable and sit with that.
Yeah.
That when you're a little uncomfortable and you move through that helps.
Right.
Okay. So, with expansion, it's like when you're stretching, when you stretch your muscles, it kind of hurts sometimes, but it feels better afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah. And there might be a little bit, of discomfort with this, but I think that discomfort exists so that we can continue to make these shifts.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, and honestly, people are so ready for something to move. I think people are also ready for the discomfort.
Yeah, I think so too, because it signifies something shifting, something changing.
Right.
And there has been this stagnation. As much as eclipse season felt like kind of an upheaval, nothing was really actually moving.
Right. We just could There was a lot of discernment.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think we can now take those things and do something with it.
Yeah.
So again, that Jupiter square Pluto is kind of the beginning of this whole week-long grand cross that we're dealing with.
Let's see how we are stretching.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And that Pluto in Aquarius, baby, that is transforming, right? That's just bringing in these new ways of speaking, feeling, communicating. So this is going to be good. All right. Thursday, the moon will still be in Taurus.
Yes.
It's going to sextile Venus in Cancer.
Yes.
Okay.
Which that's a really beautiful energy.
Yeah.
That's just two feminine planetary bodies just having a lovely conversation with one another, flowing easily with each other. And, you know, the moon is our feelings.
Yeah.
Venus is our value system. And it's like feeling connected to our self-worth.
Yeah. And then it's also going to be squaring Lilith.
Yes.
Who is in Leo.
Yes.
Which is great because we got to start bringing in this fire. Starting to bring the fire back, you know, and so squaring that Lilith and Leo just tells me it's like more self-esteem.
Yes, because Lilith is the liberator.
Yep.
She takes us out of anything that isn't ours,
that
isn't right for us. And again, there might be a little discomfort because it's square, but she's challenging us to level up.
Right, and it would almost be like this idea of like, I'm not effing doing that anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's like,
and that's exactly what Lilith. She doesn't care.
No.
She's gonna do what's right for her.
And and we're in this new energy, in this new time. Yeah. So it is like okay to see things with fresh eyes, and it's okay to make these boundaries.
Well, that's interesting that you talk about seeing things with fresh eyes.
Okay.
Because we've got the sun sextiling Neptune on that day.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I think that kind of is like lifting off something that maybe was like in our unconscious.
Yeah.
Shining a light on it. Like a nice soft light.
Yeah.
It's a sextile.
Yeah, and also again, just so you guys remember, the sun is also in Taurus. But I was going to say, if you see yourself like with new eyes, with like new self-esteem, with like new boundaries, that is. And then when it's sextiling Venus in Cancer, but you're seeing it like in a loving way. Yeah. You know, like you love yourself so much, you're doing this for yourself.
Right. You see the best in yourself. Basically.
Yeah.
Yes. You see your potential and your highest potential. Yeah.
Right. So Friday.
Friday's a big day.
Okay. The moon will still be in Taurus.
Yep.
And it'll be the Taurus New Moon.
Yes.
Which
is interesting because this is the first Taurus New Moon that hasn't been an eclipse since 2021.
Yeah, right, because we switched.
Right. Yeah. So like Taurus, the North Node, basically when we have eclipses, it's because the new moon, full moon is close to the North or South Node. Right. Now, they are still in the same sign. So like Taurus New Moon and Taurus North Node. Right. But Taurus North Node is in like the 3rd degree, and we're going to have this new moon in like the 28th degree. Yeah. Yeah. So they're far enough away that it is no longer eclipse energy.
That's so good.
It's really beautiful because we can actually plant some frickin' seeds with this. Yeah. And not just kind of sit there and be like, okay, universe, do your will.
Right, right. And I know this is controversial, but I always tell people to start manifesting with the full moon and then plant up into the dark moon.
I like that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So with this Taurus dark moon, if you did start manifesting on the, well, it was an eclipse, but whatever. This is like a good time to rest and to start to see what starts growing and then get into this rhythm.
Yes.
Yeah, because this Taurus is very fertile, you know, with Jupiter now in there. It's really time to start building a new, I mean, it's a new foundation, so it's time to start building new stories. Yeah. I will tell you this too. This morning on my altar, I pull cards every morning, and this morning it like stopped, and it was 3 cards all came out at once.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was 6 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, and 5 of Pentacles.
Wow.
And it was like, we got to just start these new stories.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want things to come into balance, you've got to just start saying the new story. When that old story comes up, you need to just go, that's not the story. Yeah. This is the new story. And I really feel like this week is supporting that.
Oh, yeah. And it's interesting that you say that because I feel like the other energy on this day, Mercury sextiling Saturn, that's exactly that. That is speaking a new narrative about our foundations.
Right, because you guys remember, Mercury is now direct, still in the shadow, but direct. Mercury is in Taurus, sextiling Saturn, good energy.
Yes.
Saturn's in Pisces. Saturn will be in Pisces for 3 years. But Saturn is that foundation. And so it is bringing in this new foundation, right, in Pisces, which is the mystic, the dreamer, if you will.
Right, and it's like, again, like being able to, again, with having Mercury there, it's like being able to actually speak about these things, being able to actually think about these things,
right?
And again, like kind of flip the script from what we had before.
Right, and you guys remember Mercury rules Gemini, which is funny because the next day the moon does go into Gemini. But you know, Gemini needs to be the unity consciousness. Gemini needs to get all the information and make decisions. It's not just it's not this way or that way. It's not duality. It's got to go higher. So going higher on the 20th, on Saturday, the moon will move into Gemini.
Gotta go higher.
Yeah, and it'll be conjunct Juno. And Juno is asteroid?
Yes.
Okay.
She's an asteroid, and she represents commitment and partnerships.
Yep.
A lot of times she's kind of just relegated to like marriage and crap like that.
Right.
But I think of her as anything you're committed to.
Right, so it's new commitment to yourself?
Yes, that is definitely the case with that one.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot else going on that day.
Yeah.
Mainly with Mars.
Yes.
Mars is very active because he's going to move into Leo, and then right afterwards he's going to form an opposition with Pluto. So kind of that same, you know, fixed grand cross that we were talking about, adding into that energy. And Mars and Leo, I love Mars and Leo. We both have Mars and Leo, I think. You know, it's a very...
I think so.
It's a very extra
Yeah. My Mars is it is. Yeah.
And so that Mars and Leo, you know, because Leo is our courage.
Right.
Mars is our power.
Right.
So it's a very, very courageous, powerful energy that we're moving into. And that's great because, you know, we've been talking about Mars and Cancer, which has been good this time around.
Right, because he sees the power in vulnerability. Right. He sees the power in like sharing his feelings to get new perspectives, you know, like, oh, maybe other people feel differently about things.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But whatever he's learned in Cancer, he'd still rather be in Leo.
Yeah.
He really would. So him moving into Leo is kind of like, all right, you know, now I feel a little more comfortable with this energy. Let me get kind of back into my power.
Right. It's sort of like when, it would be like if you went to camp for a couple weeks and you learned all these new things and then you returned home and then you're very confident in showing what you've learned.
Yes.
That's how I see Mars entering Leo.
Yes.
And like you said, with this confidence. But it's almost, I mean, we're going to see it blow up in a lot of ways. Not like, you know, but still Mars and Leo. So if people aren't vibrating at a higher level, it's still going to look a little maybe patriarchally. But Mars entering Leo, when you've been doing the work and committed to the work, it's going to be it's going to be very grounded.
Yes.
It's going to be that consciousness of fire for sure.
Yes, I agree with that. And what's interesting, you talk about things blowing up. With that Mars opposite Pluto immediately afterwards, let me just say, I like the fact that Mars moves into Leo, then does this opposition.
Yeah.
Because I think he wouldn't have been as strong in Cancer forming an opposition with Pluto. Pluto was still in Capricorn. I think he would have been a little weak. But he's standing in his power, you know, opposing Pluto, who is creative destruction. Right. And I think, you know, things are going to blow up a little bit, but I think it's going to be, again, if you're vibrating higher, it's going to be in a good way. Right. It's going to break apart the things that we know need to be broken apart.
It's going to, and I feel like this is like in a way, like coming in with like, I keep saying really clear boundaries, you know, but also it is like really people putting their foot down, you know, and like in a good way. But we'll see how it plays out on this week because
I'm excited.
I am too, and okay, we'll keep going because
I'm always excited.
You got to get to work. We're in front of your work.
Any planet is in Leo, but
yeah. But I really see Mars entering Leo as mature.
Yes.
You know, mature, and like seeing that there is a wide realm that how he can show up, and that he's looking across at Pluto and Aquarius, and Pluto and Aquarius kind of laid down the gauntlet, even though it was only like for a little bit.
Yeah.
And Mars is saying, I hear you, I see you, we're not backing down, let's do this. You know, so it is an opposition, but it's working together. So people can show up more in their power.
Yeah.
Okay, Sunday, we made it.
Yay.
I hope they can hear us. I hope you guys can hear us. Okay. Sunday, the moon will be in Gemini. Will it stay in Gemini all day?
Yes, because the moon, moon will move into Cancer later on.
Okay, there it is, yeah.
Yes.
But later in that day, we enter
the sun
Gemini
enters
season.
Gemini, yes.
That is
Gemini season when the sun enters Gemini.
Yeah.
And we're just moving along.
Right. And so we're getting close now to the summer.
Yes.
Gemini is mutable. It'll be taking us out of spring into summer.
Yes.
We can tell. It's getting hot here.
Yeah, it's already, it feels like middle of summer already.
Yeah. And so when the moon will move into Cancer, and then the sun will move into Gemini later that day. And so the sun in Gemini will trine, which is a good energy. This Pluto in Aquarius.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's lighting up. So you've got 2 air signs. And so Gemini is air, Aquarius is air.
Yes.
Right? And that Gemini is going to start bringing in lots of different options.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also kind of just helping us think differently about things. I definitely see that because there's like a very intellectual energy to the air signs where, we may just be kind of like contemplating things on a different level that tie into this whole like Mercury retrograde eclipse season that we've gone through.
Yeah.
Tying up some loose ends with that.
Yeah, and also you guys, again, air to me is the heart. We always think it's the mind, only the mind, but to me it's also really that heart. Because when you, and we'll be saying this till the day I die, but when you go up the chakra system, air is the heart chakra, you guys. So start bringing in again this love. Say what you love, and if you've been disconnected from that love, it's important to start seeing that and bringing it back in and start making that your story.
Yes.
Especially with Jupiter entering Taurus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, I see, again, with that sun trining Pluto, it's like, again, shining a light down on how we've transformed.
Yeah.
And I think we might have a moment where something almost like beautiful comes through, where we realize like we really have transformed. It was worth it.
Yeah. It was worth it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's still going to be worth it.
I think that's really important because we've been going through some pretty intense energy.
We have. So of course, as always, as I say, everybody give yourself a pat on the back.
Yes.
You've done a great job.
Yes.
And maybe a hug.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely hug yourself.
Yes. So you guys drink lots of water. We've got a big week. We've got Mercury stationing direct. We've got Jupiter entering Taurus. We've got a new moon. And we've got the sun moving into Gemini.
Yes. And Mars moving into Leo.
And Mars moving into Leo. How could I forget Mars moving into Leo?
I know.
Yeah. Okay, you guys.
Moving signs, new moon, all the fun stuff.
Yes, as always, if you need to reach out to me or Helen, you can hit us up on our social media. If you'd like to book a reading with Helen here at Medusa's Lair, really one of the coolest branding things I've seen in a long time, please get in touch with her or Catherine. Have a great day at work today.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.